Welcome everyone to the L7C podcast, college football edition. Today we are talking about the official college football playoff rankings that are now official. The tournament that's going to be taking place to see who is going to be the champion this year, the first 12 team tournament, where Ohio State landed, what we think about where we landed, and all the other things about the playoff bracket. We got the captain with us, Mr. Byron Mitchell. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good today. Can't complain.
Got the anime expert with us, Mr. Cedric Ware. How you doing today, sir?
Doing well, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well because I can say this, man. Roll SMU, baby. Oh man. So before we get to that, there's obviously the conference championship games that happened. Oregon won the Big Ten in an entertaining game against Penn State. Georgia beat Texas. Clemson beat SMU. Boise State won their game, and Arizona State won their game as well. So the 12 teams that made the playoffs, and this is in order of their seeding. Oregon, the number one seed, the only undefeated team still left. Georgia got that 2 seed, but they won the SEC. Boise State, the 3 seed. Arizona State, the 4 seed. They all get byes. The number 5 team was Texas. The number 6 team was Penn State. 7, Notre Dame. 8, Ohio State. 9, Tennessee. 10, Indiana. 11, SMU. 12, Clemson as the ACC champ, who was able to sneak their way in because that was the only way Clemson was getting in. Obviously, going into Sunday morning, the big conversation was, since Clemson beat SMU, would they put SMU in over Alabama? Byron, how are you feeling going into that morning, thinking about that?
I wouldn't have been surprised if they snuck Bama in there since they are Bama favorites down in the ESPN headquarters. So I was like, whatever. Bama gets in, and Bama gets in.
Cedric?
I wouldn't have been surprised. I think I would have more questions on like who else, because I feel like the rest of the field would get a little bit more shaken up
Mhm.
if we're just gonna say screw you SMU. So I was wondering if they're gonna just let chaos just rule or not, and they didn't. So I'm happy.
Yeah, because the only way, before the rankings before this one, Alabama was in, Clemson was obviously out because SMU was
Mm.
the only, and then Clemson did the only thing they could do, win the ACC, got their chance, and that was like, all right, what are we comparing SMU and Alabama? And they're like, all right, they went to the conference championship game. Bama didn't. Took them as the 11th seed, and here we are. It's funny hearing, the SEC apologists talking like, oh, with this happening, this is going to ruin college football because now no one's going to want to schedule out of conference games. And that makes no sense because all the games Alabama lost were in conference.
They were. They were. Vandy, Oklahoma. Forgot the other one.
Tennessee.
Tennessee, yeah.
And they just said, yeah, we're not, you lost to a terrible Oklahoma team this year. Vanderbilt was better than we expected. Just you lost 3 games. And if you want to schedule, if you don't want to schedule a non-conference, that's fine. But Nick Saban, like, that means you can't schedule Mercer.
That's their favorite before the Auburn game.
Same. So they're just complaining. They also had complaints like a 3-loss Ole Miss team should have been in, or I was like, nah, man. There's too many good 2-loss, 1-loss teams.
Right.
So too bad to them. That sucks. You've been almost in every playoff since this existed. You could take one out. You'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
So going to these first rounds, Clemson is the 12th seed playing Texas. Ohio State is the 8th seed playing Tennessee, the 9th seed. SMU is playing Penn State, and Indiana is playing Notre Dame in an in-state game. Obviously, let's talk about the game that's going to be happening here. For the first time in a long time, Ohio State is going to be hosting a night game of consequence. They'll be hosting the Tennessee Volunteers. Ohio State didn't know how to act on Twitter because they posted a finally free from 12 p.m. new games, and Fox probably told him to delete that tweet because they deleted that real quick. And I was
So
just like,
funny.
what's the point of deleting a tweet? You already know someone screenshotted it.
Of course.
Was it you?
I did get a screenshot of it because I was shocked, bro, because they really had a dude breaking the chains like he left slavery. I'm like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, they were acting out.
They were going crazy.
But it's okay.
Right now we're about a touchdown, touchdown and a half point favorite, depending on where you look. And how do we feel that we knew we were going to be in, but now we know we're playing Tennessee. How are we feeling?
Nervous because of the results of the Michigan game. I'm still a little iffy what our offense can do, but I'm glad that it's Tennessee coming to us because they're probably not. We have the advantage because of the cold weather. So I'm nervous, but I feel like we can win.
How you feeling about these Buckeyes in these playoffs?
I'm nervous with the first game. I think though I guess for a first round opponent, since naturally we can't play the 4 people, I think this is a good matchup for us because we should be playing a team that has a good offense that can score when they're hot, because that's kind of what we're going to be thrown into if we advance and play Oregon again. Like, we've already played this Oregon team.
Yep.
Like, in my mind, I'm nervous because we have shown that we are slow to start, at least. And with teams that can score fast, that is really bad. But I'm hoping that we can break the trend this game. I think this is an opportunity for us to break the trend this game. I personally feel we've played the best team out there already. And even that was a little bit slow, but like, I want us to come out shooting in this game. But ultimately, like Byron said, I do like that we're home because I would not have liked the night game in Knoxville. Screw the cold. It's that crowd, that atmosphere is different there at night. And I don't even want to think about the stress of that. So I'm glad we could take that kind of advantage away from them as well.
No, you're right. And man, again, I don't know what our stadium's going to be like. Like, are we finally going to be able to show that we do got a night environment like the other top programs? Because we haven't had a chance to do this in a long time.
I mean, I expect. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
No, I was gonna say this is our biggest night game in years. Like, we've had night games against like Eastern Michigan and teams like that, but this is our biggest night game against a ranked opponent in years.
I expect the shoe to be rocking. I mean, it's the biggest night game in years. This is the first playoff game that we could say, like, this is the first playoff game.
Yep.
And I know for a fact, because I think it's a little different than the Big Ten championship, because I knew a bunch of people bought tickets. They bought tickets thinking we were going to get into the Big Ten championship. They bought tickets weeks before.
Yep.
I mean, those went cheap as hell after we did, because a lot of people sold those tickets. So in my mind, I'm like, those people who bought tickets for the Big Ten championship, they're willing to pay for these tickets for sure, too. So I expect it will be a packed crowd, and it will be loud, because, I mean, it's do or die in the truest sense of whatever the phrase. Like, it's it. This is it. Like, win or go home.
Yep. Yep. You got gifted this opportunity because it's a 12-team playoff, and man, I don't know, man. What Ryan Day showing up? Is it gonna be that Ryan Day from Georgia? Is it gonna be the Ryan Day who we've just been choking these big games?
I need it to be the Ryan Day against Georgia. After Georgia, he should have kept whatever pregame ritual or whatever mantra he got hyped against Georgia and kept that for the rest of the game. But I don't know why he switches to this non-aggressive Ryan Day against big opponents.
Yeah, I don't need a big brain Ryan Day. Not for this. Not for potential last game of the season. Like this entire season, we've seen you try to out scheme, out plot, out maneuver all the opponents you faced, and a couple times it's kind of not worked out for you, my guy. 100% using my guy just as a phrase. Not saying that I am a big Ryan Day supporter of any way or any fashion or stretch, but just saying if I had to sit down with the dude, I'd be like, look, man, like this is it. You talk a lot of great game in the media. I don't necessarily get hyped when you say things because you're not really an emotional person. Like you don't say things like truly emotional. You try to say awe-inspiring shit, but you don't really get these guys. Like you don't say like fired up. Like those are only after like a big win. Like the last time I think he was even sounded fired up was after beating Notre Dame. And while he was looking for Lou Holtz, Lou Holtz started. Lou Holtz is old as fuck and can barely walk. So I don't really need you to be looking for Lou Holtz. Like you got a whole gang of motherfuckers in this playoff that I imagine probably do have an opinion of Ohio State. That likely do have underestimations of Ohio State. Yeah, they'll say this is a talented offense, talented offense. But I guarantee right now the narrative is they just can't get it done. And so I need him to flip that and get these boys hyped for this game. Even if it is just one last time. You got a bunch of fucking seniors on this team that came back for this moment to advance in the playoff and leave their name out there.
Yeah, we already failed the seniors in the other aspects that we were supposed to do.
So for nothing else, this is it. This is the time I need you fired up, Ryan Day. I need you fired up to get them fired up because these people, this is what it's about. At least for the coach's side, is like you got people who bought into your program. Individuals who could have went last year and got drafted. Who some of them may have suffered some draft stock hurts because of this season. They didn't perform as well as they did last season. They weren't a prevalent name, mainly on the defense, the defensive line. I think Jack Sawyer and JTT had better draft stock last year. Those individuals took a personal fucking hit for this team, for this program, to get you fucking here.
I don't disagree with anything you said. Again, they came back, beat your rival, win the Big Ten, compete for a national championship. Failed 0 for 2, 4 years, 0 for 3, 4 years in a row. Now we get another chance to compete for a national championship. We're at home. It's a good Tennessee team. What's this offensive line going to show? Is Tennessee's defensive line going to bully us like Michigan? Are we going to do stupid shit? Are we going to try to run up the middle? Are we going to actually get the ball? I even forget their damn names. To Ibuka, Jeremiah Smith, like all them guys, like these all-star wide receivers. Because again, we don't know. Shit, I can't even say that because of the transfer portal and people sending bags of money. We don't know who's coming back next year. Like in terms of like the young people, we know we're losing a whole bunch of seniors. We could be I'm not gonna say we're gonna lose that many games, but we could be rebuilding like a Michigan next year. So we got to do it now. You have an opportunity. Get this national title down. It ain't gonna be easy. I don't like that Ohio State media is saying like, oh, there's really no good dominant team in the playoffs. Like I like Ohio State's chances against anyone. That's fine, but that means we're not dominant either, and any of these teams could beat us too. So we shouldn't be going into any game cocky.
Facts.
Facts.
Because you blink, and we have not. And the thing is, too, a lot of these teams have been playing. We have not played since Michigan. So,
yeah, besides us and Indiana and Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee hasn't played since their last game.
And Notre Dame, just by creation of their schedule, because they're not in a conference. But
some of those other teams were already in fighting for their life, do or die mode. Like Clemson was do or die since like for 4 weeks. Like, and they needed that loss for Miami to get them through. Like Georgia, obviously, like Texas, like and Oregon and Penn State. We just got to come to play, man. Will Howard. I know Byron. You talk about it. We can't have any. We can't have any picks. We cannot.
No, we don't need his patent to 2 turnover games. It's happened like the last 6 weeks. You got to protect that ball. We don't need you to force throws. We just need you read your assignments, pick the right guy. You don't need to play hero ball, not in the playoffs.
Honestly, don't even hold on to the ball too long. Get rid of that shit.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the biggest fault that they talk about with a lot of college players is they hold on to the ball, waiting for that magical play to happen because they think that receiver is going to get open. And sometimes they are right. There are some highlights that you're just in that pocket fighting for your fucking life. You scramble and you roll out and you hit that big receiver who's wide open and somehow it's a touchdown. That's great. We don't need that, though, to win the game.
No, if you don't see it, just throw it out of bounds. Get rid of it. And also, too, Chip Kelly, brother, you got to call a better game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm still not convinced that Chip was the only one calling those plays at that Michigan game.
Cedric, I'm inclined to agree with you.
Like, things got to be on point. Y'all been practicing X amount of weeks since Michigan. Like, there's no reason you should come into this game unprepared.
But you know how we are after a bye week, man.
Well, this has almost been a bye half month.
Hey, trust me. I'm just saying. We seen it against Marshall and that other team, Nebraska. After our bye weeks, just start slow as hell.
Well, yeah, Nebraska. Real slow. Oh, God.
That was very slow. It's just saying, y'all haven't played since the weekend of Thanksgiving. Y'all about to play the week before Christmas. You've had plenty of time to get your shit in order.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, man. And again, we're favored right now, betting wise. But obviously, that doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of when it finally gets to the field. And Cedric brought up the defense, like another chance, JTT, Sawyer, get your names back in good graces. But I'm looking at Will Howard, and I'm like, shoot, Devin Brown, the backup, already said he's transferring out. So
yeah,
we'll have a young buck starting next year. So
I mean, it's probably good for Devin Brown because our quarterback room is deep as hell.
It happens every year.
Yeah, and plus we keep bringing in transfers.
And we get some number one quarterback from like the high schools. So,
and you know, they sit, they wait, they compete, and I mean, I can't be mad at someone who's competed for the starting role, try to get it for 3 years, and been just sitting second string to 2 different quarterbacks. I mean,
so for Ohio State to win the national title, if it went chalk, which I do not think everyone thinks things are going to go chalk. I do not think they're going to go chalk. If it went chalk, Ohio State would have to beat Tennessee, a good SEC team. Would have to beat Oregon in the Rose Bowl. And then would have to beat Texas in the semifinals. And then would have to beat Georgia in the national title if it goes chalk.
Tough road.
That's why you don't want to not have a bye, because those 4 games, 3 is a lot better than 4.
Yeah.
Man, oh God.
I know that is to win the national title. You have to.
I'll say chalk to, like, for us, it's like that may be the hardest. That may be the hardest path because we're playing 1, because like right, we beat Tennessee, but we're playing 1, 5, and then 2.
Yeah.
And we're 8 hosting the 9, so 1 seed below us. Yeah, and I'm telling you, that's tough. Can you imagine? I mean, and if you think of the storyline perspective of the Ohio State thing, obviously Ryan Day doesn't have a good record against the SEC right now, so you have that in the first game. Oregon, play them in the Rose Bowl. It's like they're back in the Pac-12 all over again.
100%.
So that's tradition. So that's kind of cool. And it's the one loss that we've had. So that you have that storyline there. They're still undefeated. If you play Texas in the semifinals, Jesus, if Quinn Ewers against Ohio State with a chance to go to the national title, his former team that he stayed for a hot second, And then obviously, if you play against Georgia, you know they're going to be playing that. Last time they played each other in the playoffs, that kicker missed the kick at midnight on New Year's, and it's going to be up to us to stop Kirby from getting his third ring in 4 years. If it goes chalk, there's a long there's a long way to go. We're talking here on middle of December. The national title game isn't until freaking Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah, January 20th. Man, that's gonna be a good football, but it's about to be a long month until that.
Unless our
championship game.
Unless we just get bounced before Christmas.
True.
So I don't know, man. These Buckeyes, they're talking. They're like, yeah, we can win the title. We could do it. All right, well, let's see. Oddmakers still have us like the third best team to win the title, behind like Oregon and Georgia. I'm like, okay, I mean, our talent. I mean, we've talked about it all year. We've got the talent. It's just a matter of putting the shit together.
Yeah, the execution has not been there when it needs to be.
And again, I know Herstory brought like, what happens when we do? What happens if we do start slow? What happens if we're down at halftime? What happens if it's a 10-10 game going into the fourth quarter again? Who's gonna fold first? We just folded last time we were in a close game. Like, what's going to be the psyche of our players?
We folded against Oregon. It was a close game. If it goes 10-10 and it's like the start of the fourth quarter, I am probably going to stand up for that whole fourth quarter.
I mean, they got the city of Columbus. It's a Saturday night, so you already know people are adjusting their holiday shopping schedule, maybe holiday parties accordingly, because that's the type of city we are for this team. So,
yeah, we'll show up for our Buckeyes. That's one thing about us.
Cedric, what happens if Tennessee blows out Ohio State?
Ryan Day gets fired and may not make it out of the stadium alive. Reality, though. I mean, I think that's a great momentum boost for Tennessee. If they blow our doors off and they put it on us like that, then going against Oregon, that's great confidence roll into the next round. For us, I think it's going to be a lot of questions. I really do think Ryan Day will probably lose his job if he gets blown out by Tennessee. I really do. I think it will become a question of where do we want this team to go next? Do we want to do a full clearing of the coaching staff, or God forbid we have to have all those hard conversations of do we just get rid of Ryan Day and say, Chip, do you want to roll this ship interim until we figure out what we want to do with this program, or do we want to fucking go full sail, Chip? Do we get rid of Jim Knowles? I pray to God we keep Hardline, because otherwise there goes all our receivers. And a lot of bad things happen if we get blown out by Tennessee. I see a lot of bad things happening.
I just don't think if you go calendar year to calendar year, I think that'd be one of the worst years we've ever had, because we started off January 2024 getting embarrassed by Missouri, and then you end 2024 losing to Michigan for your fourth straight year in a row, then getting smoked by Tennessee. That's a bad year. From not even a football year, from January to December.
Yeah, that's a terrible year. I don't want to live that year. So, Buckeyes, I need you to get it together against Tennessee. At least survive until January.
We need to remember, but again, we've talked about it too. We paid $20 million and lost to the worst Michigan team in history, but this is another reason we paid $20 million.
Won a national championship.
We ain't gonna be paid $20 million to lose to Michigan and then get smoked the first round of the playoffs every year. That's just not going to cut it with the boosters. Guys, we scored 10 points our last game that we played. 10 with $20 million.
10. Because we wanted to run it up the middle and prove we're tougher than Michigan's defensive line.
I just realized because of that game is probably why Jeremiah Smith didn't get 1,000 receiving yards this season.
Yes.
Yeah, he was.
He's
think,
934, 10 tutties.
Yeah.
Jenkins,
66 yards short.
And Tennessee has their losses. They lost to Georgia this year, 31-17. And they lost a close one at Arkansas, 19-14. Those are the only two losses they've had. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Byron, who do you got?
Ohio State.
Okay. You have it a close game? What's a score prediction?
I do have it close. Again, based on the results of Michigan, I'm going to say 24-21.
Okay. Cedric, who you got in this one?
Fuck. I got Ohio State. I think for our purposes, I think we could survive a shootout with them. Nico makes a lot of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He does kind of turn the ball over, and I think that can help us. We get multiple bites at the apple, and we can protect the ball. I think this is a statement game for us. I'm going to say 48-24.
Okay.
Like it. I don't even think we beat Tennessee. I think our weather beats Tennessee, and that's even to say if we even get like crazy, like cold weather. Because them boys in Tennessee were using heaters on 55 degrees. If you're using heaters for 55 degrees, y'all might as well not make this trip. Because I can guarantee you, they gonna be 55 degrees at night when y'all come up here on December 21st. I think they're gonna make mistakes like Indiana, muff punts, just terrible fumbles where they wouldn't fumble in other games.
Mm-hmm.
I got Ohio State winning 30-15 in this, and in all honesty, this is probably where Ohio State season will. After the next game is probably where it's going to end. So,
yeah,
just throwing that out there now, especially if they play like shit. But who y'all got in the Clemson Texas game?
I've been thinking about that one. I think Clemson has the better team.
Clemson has a better team than Texas?
Like, based on stats,
okay.
Seems like Clemson has a better team on paper.
Don't know.
Game-wise, I think I just can't root against Texas. I'm going Texas, even though they lost to Georgia when Carson Beck went out the game in the second half. I still don't know how they lost that game. I think they have a bounce back and beats Clemson.
Cedric?
I'm going Texas. I know that Dabo and them, they've been showing fight, but that SMU game, they got out ahead real early.
Yeah.
And SMU fought back into the game.
Yep.
I don't think they could command Texas as well as they did SMU off like offensive defense. And this Texas team has shown us they can march down the field. They can put drives together. They can score points. So I'm going Texas.
Agreed. I am, I guess, quasi happy that Dabo's in the playoffs just because, like, many weeks ago, when we talked about how Clemson was just, off the radar and they're just doing their thing. And then, of course, when someone on TV is like, man, Clemson's been off the radar. Look what they're doing. And then they fumbled the bag. We're like, well, now they made us look dumb. But they found a way in. So kudos to you, Dabo. But yeah, I think Texas beats y'all. SMU, Penn State, white out. Byron, how you like it in this?
James Franklin in a big game
against Oregon. They put up almost a 40 bomb.
They did. They were fighting. And it's a whiteout. I'm going Penn State because I
Okay.
got that whiteout environment. It's at home. Not Dabo. James Franklin has something he has to prove as well, like Ryan Day. So I'm going Penn State.
Okay. Cedric?
Um, this is actually a tough one for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say Penn State because I think they showed a lot in the Big Ten championship. They showed more fight than I expected from them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I do think of the first 4 games, unfortunately, I think they're the easy upset.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, I wouldn't think the way Indiana's been playing this year that them beating Notre Dame is like a crazy upset because Notre Dame's they've had a better end of the season. They started off kind of
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
but I think Penn State's like the one where they think James Franklin's going to fumble the bag. James Franklin always fumbles the bag. This is his time to fumble the bag. But I do think Penn State will win this game.
You know what? Just so we can say we had one person. I'm gonna go SMU because God help James Franklin. He cannot get out of his own way. Somehow he's just gonna just F it all up and they're gonna lose and he will be the laughing stock of the Saturday Saturday day. But
Yeah.
hey. But again, shouts out to SMU. Them boys are tough over there. Like Cedric said, the boys are tough. They can be down by a whole lot and they ain't gonna give up.
Mm-mm.
What's Franklin gonna do if they are up and SMU's like, all right, we've been here before. We're gonna fight back fourth quarter. What are you gonna do? Because I'll tell y'all right now, I might pick Penn State to lose every game until they don't lose, which that ain't happening. Because
Same.
I think Ashon Gentry about to kill them boys.
Oh yeah.
Man, Indiana, Notre Dame, Indiana, the story of the college football, story of the Big Ten. No one besides one person on this planet somewhere who picked Indiana to make it this far. And you got Notre Dame, who ever since they lost in Illinois, completely flipped the switch and have been an amazing team. This
Mm-hmm.
is in the state of Indiana. Winner plays Georgia. Who do y'all got in this Indiana Notre Dame game?
I have no idea.
Indiana's gonna throw everything. They're going to run. They are going to be bombing that ball. They're gonna throw everything but the kitchen sink, man. And this is Brother Freeman in the playoffs. This is his first time. I mean,
Yeah, first time for Brother Freeman. I want to root for Brother Freeman. I still don't trust Notre Dame's quarterback, Riley Leonard.
yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna take Indiana for the upset.
Okay. Okay. Cedric.
I'll go Notre Dame only because when that offense is really clicking, like it's just like it's never fucking ending.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like a fucking never ending story, and it can be very, very frustrating because they're not just quick; they're also physical. Like they'll run Riley Leonard on like a fucking 3rd and 6, and the fucker will still get the fucking first down, breaking a tackle or two. They got 2 good running backs that they both can come out of the backfield and catch the ball as well as run the ball behind the tackle. I do think that this is going to be a good test for their defense because they've kind of had like up and down battles in competition. I think this is a game for them to underestimate their
Mm-hmm.
opponents. I would imagine Brother Freeman is going to have that talk with them because they do have talent on defense. They have good corners, but
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we talked about with Indiana versus us that this is Indiana's first step onto the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And while Marcus Freeman in that program is still younger, they've been there.
Mm-hmm.
They've been on under those lights. And yeah, sure, it's not a road game, but this is South Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could be from Indiana, but no offense to the Hoosiers. Them Catholics love that fucking Irish gold. Like, I kid you not.
Yeah.
So I think Notre Dame will get that one.
Yeah. I agree, man. In-state rivals. Indiana, I could see them. I'm gonna tell you what. I already did one. I mean, I don't know if any of these favorites are gonna cover because some of these spreads are kind of crazy and disrespectful. But I got Notre Dame too. I just feel like if Notre Dame gets up by maybe like 10 points, that defense is just gonna take over. But hell, Indiana has nothing to lose. No one expected them to be here.
Facts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, no one expected them to be here. So that'd be it for the first round. Then the semifinals would start during the quarterfinals. I'm sorry, would start during bowl week, like 31st. You have the Fiesta Bowl. That's who Penn State or SMU play Boise State. Rose Bowl would be New Year's Day, 5 o'clock against Oregon. We're hoping that that's us. Then you got the Peach Bowl and Sugar Bowl that day. So New Year's Day, you're going to have a whole slew of quarterfinals games. So don't make any plans that day. And then the semifinals, Thursday, January 9th and Friday, January 10th, which are the Orange Bowl and Cotton Bowl. We're hoping to get there. And then you have a 10-day break until the championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we are. I mean, this is it, guys. We're gonna see what this team is, what they're really made of. I know Ryan Day's too busy responding to Kurt Herbstreit when Kurt Herbstreit says like, maybe Ohio State wanted a road game because if they start slow, that crowd's gonna start booing. And then now all of Ohio radio's against Herbstreit right now. So
But it's true. We started booing that team against Michigan when we kept running it.
I don't know what to tell you. Stop running the ball. But
oh no, it is true. If they start slow, it's gonna be curtains.
Yeah.
Like, ooh. I just don't. Yeah, I just they was like, man, God forbid, because I know Hershey talks about like mostly OSC fans are great. There's 10% who are psycho. I was like, yeah, trust me, we talk about them on this podcast all the time.
absolutely do.
Mm-hmm. We ran that 10% was the ones bitching about CJ Stroud. Now they're like, oh my god, I miss him so much. Oh, we still remember y'all. We still do. Then y'all ran Common Cord out of town. Then the next year he was the nation's leading passer.
Yeah. I remember those tweets, man. Bench CJ Stroud.
Brother, don't even start. And then, oh my God, he would have won the Heisman if we would have beat Michigan. It wouldn't even been Caleb Williams.
Nope.
I was like, wait, CJ Stroud, Heisman frontrunner. Where? I'll never forget. That was one of my favorite one. That title for one of our episodes. Remember when we told y'all to chill out on CJ Stroud?
Mm-hmm.
See, I want to listen. I gotta take it easy. I know season ticket holders, those people already got access to their tickets from all these games. So for the general public, they're going on sale Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday.
So if you're a general public ticket holder, if you're part of the general public and want a ticket, try and get in there on the 12th. You know them ticket mice. They're going to be going for some decent money. So you just got to be prepared for that. It's no, depending on where you want to sit. There should be a room for everyone, but expecting a sold out crowd.
Yeah.
You got the coins, go. It's the first playoff game. Some of me thinks it's kind of a little suspicious that the first hosted playoff games are at Notre Dame, at Texas, at Ohio State, at Penn State. Some legendary stadiums just magically got the first games.
If you want to believe in script.
Part of the script.
Perfect script right there.
Just like Bill Belichick potentially being the coach at North Carolina? Huh? Huh? What?
That news broke today.
Still confused by it, but hey. You fired a 72-year-old to hire a 72-year-old.
All right, Mac Brown hire Bill Belichick. Sure.
This weekend too will be the Heisman. You already have the 4 finalists: Genty, Travis, Cam Ward, and Dylan Gabriel. A lot of people are like, "Man, why is Cam Ward going? He's going to the Pop-Tart Bowl."
I mean, he still had an amazing season.
He did, but they're like, some person's like, "Well, there was no one in the SEC worthy of even being nominated, so they had to get someone from the South."
Damn.
And there really was no one in the SEC worth a shit for the Heisman.
Man, I remember our first podcast. I said Carson Beck was going to win the Heisman. Boy, had a tragic season.
No!
Listen, Byron, at that time you didn't know any better. Okay, he was looking good, man. All right, I think I said Quinn Ewers was going to win at the beginning.
I think he would have actually had a fair shot if he stayed healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, he missed like 3 games.
He wasn't ass like Beck was.
Oh well, I mean,
hey, it's funny. It's just crazy thinking like, all right, these are the 4, and it's probably gonna be Travis or Ginty, which is fine. It's just weird thinking that an undefeated conference champ quarterback isn't getting as much pub for this as Dylan Gabriel. It should be.
I agree. But Travis Hunter, has a backing of Deion Sanders. And Genty just has been going off the whole season. Dylan Gabriel has had a quietly good season.
And his team's undefeated. And he has the best wins. No losses.
Yeah.
Usually that spells the Heisman.
Yeah. You should.
Wow.
Hey, but I ain't complaining. Genty or Hunter, either way, respectfully, big money coming my way because I bet on them early.
Yeah, I got my money on Genty, so I need the voters to
go that
look
way.
at season real fine-toothly.
Oh, man, we'll see. Playoffs start that Friday, December 20th, next Friday at Notre Dame, South Bend, ABC, ESPN. These games are on ABC and TNT. So no Fox, none of that bullshit. No CBS, no NBC. They are on mostly ESPN and some TNT, which is strange, but whatever.
Yeah, I wonder how TNT got a college football game on instead of like Fox.
They said fuck them. It was all part when they were doing deals.
Yeah.
And TNT they get the Texas one or they get the Penn State one. So, and then
good for them.
And then of course that Saturday night ABC night game, Ohio in Columbus, Ohio. Man, I haven't said those words in them forever.
Yep.
Herb Street and Fowler coming. Well, any trash cans, any losers, any winners out there for you guys on this last pod before the playoffs begin? And we'll be back after the Ohio State game somehow to talk about it if Ryan Day left or we're going to the Rose Bowl.
No, I don't think I have any trash cans.
That's good.
I will say,
Brian, I gotta call your guy out though.
Call him out. I don't know who you're calling out.
I forgot to call him out last week. Mr. Miles Morales.
After Haley Steinfeld got engaged.
Yeah, Buddy
bro, come on, bro, not your keyboard.
Buddy was crashing. He was crashing. No. I'm like, brother, you knew he was dating that. You knew he was dating that girl anyway. You knew better than all of us. Buddy was coming to set. Like, what? Man. He was coming to the premiere parties. And like, you can't be tweeting that bullshit after you found out they got engaged. Like, I know that's just bad timing. And then you try to defend it. Come on, man. He was
Buddy
crashing.
Basically said there's other fish in the sea. Buddy was going through it.
But, buddy, no disrespect. That fish was not for you. It never was. It never was in your ocean, and you knew it.
Hey, he still. Oh, he had a shot, man.
You thought because y'all had
maybe
great
that
chemistry.
magically we're gonna Break up.
Because you have great chemistry in an animated movie? You thought that was going to swim your way? Come on.
Byron, I'm sorry. That guy, even if they broke
No,
up.
I get it.
even
I
in
get it.
the crazy circumstances they broke up, she was not giving him no play.
I know.
I just laughed because I was like, buddy, really crashing for real.
My man saw that movie Dope. He's like, Anna Miles Morales, man. I started like, man, I'm out here now. Like, he's like, I thought I could pull these hoes.
And then they probably gonna have a kiss scene in the next Into the Spider-Verse. Like, damn, this ain't in real life. Crazy.
Huh?
I'm just saying, like, oh man. I forgot to talk about him last time because that was wild. No, I don't think they really. I mean, you could talk about all the SEC apologists being trash.
Well, I mean,
someone tried to say there should have been 8 SEC teams in.
For what reason?
They try to say because if you look across the SEC, look at all this NFL talent. So because of that, there should be 8 teams in. They tried to say even Florida should have been in.
Florida 6-6, Florida.
Yeah,
or 7-5. Excuse me, 7-5, Florida.
Bro, they were crashing too.
Man,
they got 3 in there. Be happy with Texas, Georgia, and Tennessee. You're fine.
Hey man, who would have thought first playoffs we have more Big Ten teams than the S? Man, life's crazy.
Yep.
Now we might have just as many SEC teams by the end of that first weekend, but
that's a whole different story.
It's a whole different story. Man, Cedric, I was also gonna bring up your Eagles, bro. Like, what's going on with this random beef?
Oh, the random beef. I honestly don't believe there's beef.
Okay,
I really don't. I mean,
shit came out of nowhere.
Well, this isn't like anything that wasn't like last season. It happened at the same time last season, where we went away from the passing game so much, and not necessarily going away from the passing game, but just as much as that we ain't getting the ball to AJ Brown, and AJ Brown felt some type of way. And if you remember, this happened last year when he removed the Eagles thing from his social media or like took down his social media shit. This is I think it's about the same type of shit. Like, I really do. I feel like it's the same type of shit. Which, I mean, I get the brother. I do. While Jalen Hurts is winning, we're getting these wins, that nigga's checkdowns is questionable. Like, my man reads real quick. If the first option's not open, he's going down to the flat. Like, who's at the flat? Like, I saw a couple different videos of, like, AJ Brown being wide the fuck open for a potential touchdown pass. If you would have saw the Jalen Hurts at the beginning of the season, he's throwing that bitch. Now, sometimes it gets there, sometimes it don't. Because he had the same situation happen with Devontae, where he threw a couple big bombs to Devontae. I didn't think we were going to get there, and somehow they did. So I don't think there's really much beef. Like, these guys have been friends personally. I think Jalen Hurts is his daughter's goddad. I think they're like that close. Like, they hang out all the fucking time. And so if there is like a beef, most definitely don't get it twisted. Like, I think that it will be talked about. I think what Brandon Graham was talking about in his interview is more or less like the vibe. Because he's like, 1 is trying, 11 is upset. Because there's been a bunch of like videos of them on the sideline and AJ Brown like being extremely emotional. And I say emotional because I can't say like if he's angry, if he's complaining, if he's yelling, if he's like, because I mean, it's him sitting next to Devontae and he's being very animated.
Okay.
But I don't think there's like, I wouldn't say it's so much as like a beef as like they have an issue with each other right now.
Okay. That's fine too. It's like, damn, they won 9 straight. Got a big game against Pittsburgh this weekend. Like, they click it. I'm like, damn, what's going on? But it is what it is. Hey man, shout out to them Nuggets. Y'all the only team I know that can have your star player score 56 and lose to the Wizards. I don't care who's hurt. The Wizards were on a 16-game losing streak. Joker gave them 56. 56! And y'all still lost.
The team on his back.
And then proceeded to score 40 plus the next game. He scored 100 points in 2 days.
Hey. That's MVP.
Right, get your
Yeah.
MVP votes in now.
Like, Jesus. The Wizards? 16
Wizards.
straight? Shit.
The Washington Wizards.
The
I
last
was
time
shocked.
the last time they won, Nebraska was 5-1. Like, come on.
And look what happened in Nebraska.
And then I gotta shout the same thing out to the Lakers, bro. How LeBron have a 39-point triple-double, AD almost have a 38-point triple-double, and y'all let little Trae Young hit a game winner on y'all heads. Because y'all let that man y'all let him have 20 and 20. Little Trae Young.
Wow.
That's what Trae Young does, man.
The Lakers, y'all ass, bro. Just, y'all gotta get that shit together. Worry about Bronny James.
Oh no, this man's your ass.
I'm just saying, man. Like, what are y'all doing out here? Like, but I will say, Cedric, I do want another Eagle question for you because he is actually with the games that are left. It is very possible that Saquon.
I think he's going to break the record.
Are you guys going to let him break the record? Like, are y'all going to rest him one of the games? Like, if you already have a seating in place?
Now, that's a great question. I think if Nick Sirianni has to say anything about it, he's going to let Saquon run the ball. All he fucking wants to try to break that record. Okay. I think a lot of it, I honestly think the last game was kind of like a nod of like them trying to boost his touchdowns a bit for the MVP candidacy. Because if you notice, we had a couple goal line moments where we're trying to run the ball in when we normally would do the brotherly shove. Like we're on like the 2-yard line. We normally do it twice, get Jalen a touchdown. We ended up doing it, I think, on either third or fourth down, and he got in there. But the first 2 downs, like they're handing the ball to Saquon. I mean, I think they're trying to boost some stats. I think Sirianni, if Sirianni is making the call, he'll be out there. Now, if Saquon, it's up to Saquon. Because I don't think Sirianni is going to force Saquon to go out there to run the rock for the record, knowing that we still have the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, I think if Saquon's like, look, man, like, fuck that. Let's win the Super Bowl. Sirianni's going to say, all right, fuck that. Let's win the Super Bowl. Game well, get out there. Like, fuck it. Like, so it's really up to Saquon if he wants the record. I know there was a video clip that was going viral from earlier in the season when he ended up breaking his rushing yards in a game record. But there was a video before that because it was like, I think like week 5 or something where they're like, he's like, hey, you're like however many, like 15 yards or something like that away from your record, breaking your career high. Do you want to go for it? Because I really want that for you. And he's like, nah, man, let the young guys eat. Like,
no. Hey, the fact that someone is close is amazing to behold. And I get it because, shout out, even though they lost this game, Josh Howard having 6 tutties, 3 passing, 3 rushing.
Man.
He went off.
And still lost the game.
The Rams are just clicking, man. The Rams trying to get to the playoffs, too.
I hear you, but 6 tutties.
It's wild, bro.
Hey, ever since he got engaged, bro, he been hooping. He been balling, bro. I'm just saying, look at them 2 games since he been engaged. That last game, he caught, threw, and ran for a touchdown.
I'm with you, man. He out here, he playing. Shit's wild.
Yeah, he ain't trying to be no hoe out there, and then his girl be like, yeah, I can't be with this.
He is a current MVP favorite now.
It's between him and Saquon. Lamar fell off.
Yeah, Lamar's having a tough time right now.
No, man, he fell off. My man Jared Goff should get a little bit more respect. I mean, the Lions can beat anyone by 50 if they want to. So,
hey,
I don't think the problem is Jared
this
Goff.
weekend.
I don't think the people are disrespecting Jared Goff. They're like, you know what, man? Go ahead. We'll see when you come.
Who the Lions got this weekend?
Bills. At Detroit.
That's gonna be a good one. But well, with that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. Oh, if you were wondering where our Michigan podcasts were, obviously we did that live on YouTube. Check that out on YouTube if you were looking for that one. But with that being said, L7C podcast, go Bucks, beat the Vols, and we'll be back to talk about those games. That being said, signing out.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.